everybody? Welcome to the Rude Awakening, where we start your morning with 2 eggs and a stack of hot takes. In today's episode, I got Mr. Will White, premier player for the Alvernia University Golden Wolves ice hockey team, and he's a guest here today to talk about the NHL playoffs, more specifically the conference finals. Will, how are we doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on. This is unreal. Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love having you on, Will.
Summer's been good. Just been hanging out right now, trying to find a job. But you know how it goes, college kids. It's just that's the life of being in college still. So
exactly. Yeah, your life is hockey too. So it's like defining that job. It's like just something on the side. Hockey's the goal right now, and something involving your major. And we'll talk a little bit more about you. But first, the appeal of this episode is to talk about the NHL conference finals. Haven't done that yet on the Rude Awakening here, but that's why I got Will. He knows his stuff. He knows his hockey. So, Will, which series do you want to talk about first?
Honestly, Edmonton versus Dallas that is a great series. Mainly just because I think both of those teams are powerhouses, and I just think whoever wins that is going to have a really good fighting chance. I do say the only problem is Edmonton has a big issue is they've never been past this point. You know what I'm saying? So when they get to the finals, they don't have the veteran guys who have been playing for a while, who have been taking care of that stuff. So I'm excited versus Dallas has Joe Pavelski. They got some older guys who have been to the finals, who are more veteran hockey players. And that's all really counts 100%. In these series, so it's pretty exciting. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's been a great series so far, like you said, 2-2. And, look at the teams that they beat to get here. Oilers just got finished a 7-game series with Vancouver, so they had that going for them. Shout out, the Canucks fans out there. Best run you had in a while. And Dallas Stars, beat Colorado in 6. And they beat the reigning champs Vegas in the first round this year. So these two teams... Personally, for me, I think whoever wins this conference finals, I think, is going to win the Stanley Cup. I know that's early. You got to look at Florida and New York as well. They're both good teams, but the Stars and the Oilers, they've been killer.
I'm on the other side of that. I think that whoever wins Florida and Rangers is going to be making a serious push to win the Cup.
Okay.
Just because they're both such good teams and very physical, that I think that I don't know if Dallas can handle that. I know they have a lot of skilled guys. But the only thing I will say is goaltending has been a big issue for the Oilers. So, Oilers, they've had on and off, who are they going to be in net? All three other teams are kind of riding with who's been in net consistently, who's been playing. Igor Shesterkin. Dallas has Ottinger, who's been their number one guy the whole year. And then Florida has the Russian guy. Bobrovsky.
Was their goalie?
I think.
Bobrovsky. Sergei,
And, they've been riding them the whole year. So the only thing that I would be questionable about with the Oilers is their goaltending going into the final stretch. But I think Rangers-Florida, that is an amazing series. Every game, I'm like, this could go either way. I think the Rangers have been having some rough starts, and you can see how the physicality is taking a toll on a lot of the players. And it's pretty cool.
Rangers have had a lot of... Sorry to cut you off. Rangers have had a lot of penalty troubles, really, because you see a lot of these Florida goals have from power plays. You got to look at Reinhart. He's first in the league for his power play goals. He's taking advantage of that situation. And you said, they're both aggressive teams, but the Rangers just got to keep it clean, because that's how Florida Panthers have been winning some of these games is the mistakes.
It is unfortunate because that's it's the same thing with most hockey. It's you get a penalty, penalties per game, you're chasing the rest of the game, and it's hard to do in playoffs because the margins for error are so tight. So it's going to be pretty cool to see and coming up here on what's happening with these next games will probably tell us a lot about how the series is going to go from here on out.
Yeah, Panthers Rangers is going to be tonight before while we're recording this. We're recording this before Game 5 of Florida New York. So just both of these series are tied 2-2, so it's kind of it's been crazy for those who haven't been keeping up with the NHL playoffs. They've been awesome to watch. Personally, me, I don't keep up with them as much as I should, but I was watching some of the game recaps and highlights, and I'm like, maybe I need to start watching more, because I'm a Flyers fan, so I'm just kind of tune out a little bit of the playoffs. You're a
Once
Penguins fan, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm a Penguins fan, so my team's not in, but this is the time when hockey's the most exciting, I think. Like, the playoffs, that's the greatest time. It's like any other sport. Like, playoffs, it makes or breaks the whole season for a lot of teams,
Right.
and it's awesome to watch. And I think the greatest thing about hockey, too, is after the playoffs, you find out how many guys have been playing through injuries, through broken ribs, torn ligaments. Like, that's the greatest thing. Like, Dallas knocking off Vegas this year in the first round was so good because I was like, these guys, they're trying to play the game of using the cap to their advantage and, like, having guys on injured reserve and then coming back right for playoffs. So that's, like, one of those things where you have those powerhouse teams that just get knocked out because it's like, hey, listen, we're going to play our hardest, and it's anyone's game once you get to playoffs, so it's really cool.
It's with any sport. Like, usually the healthiest team is the one that comes out on top. And yeah, we saw that with Vegas first round. Like, even though Dallas, no disrespect to them, they are a great team also. But we know Vegas reigning champs, like, oh, they're gonna make it far. But yeah, the physicality of Dallas is kind of what brought them here. And you kind of look at this final four. They're all physical teams, man. Like, you don't want to fuck with them in an alleyway.
They're
I'm
all
just gonna
grinding.
say that.
They're all grinding through, and it's so fun. Honestly, my favorite part is after, like, whoever wins the Stanley Cup, you find out these guys that, like, last year there's guys playing with, like, torn ACLs. Like, usually it would set you out for, like, I'm sure this guy Lindgren on you probably seen him on the Rangers. His face is all beat up. He got hit last night. Looks like something happened to his rib or his hip, but he's probably got some injuries that he's just playing through because it's the Cup. That's like the thing. It's
You're gonna see him on the ice tonight or game 6. If there's another one. Yeah.
And for these NHL players, this is like their dream. So a lot of them will be like, listen, I'd rather play through a broken foot or broken bone and help my team succeed than give up and just be like, you guys got this.
And that's what makes hockey different from, like, any other sport I've been watching in playoffs. Like, because I just did an NBA discussion, and you'll see guys that have, like, tweaked something or, like, something's not right, and they're out right away. But hockey, they're gonna try and hide that just to, like, keep pushing through and playing these games because it means so much to them. Like, you see the dedication hockey players have. It's the most physical of the big four sports. I'm saying that more than football. Because, like, it's crazy
it's most physical without it even being. And I think, there's a different aspect to hockey, which is, the market isn't that big. So it's very hard for these guys to, like, you have super fans coming in. You have a lot of fans coming in to watch these games. If you're hurt and they want to come see you or they want to come, like, watch you, it's like, a lot of times that's like the mental side where you just kind of, like, fight through it because you're like, all right, people are here.
Yeah.
There's guys who break their arms during games, and before going to the hospital, they're putting their suit on because they're like, what if I see a fan and I have to autograph? It's like, it's a very unique sport because in that aspect, a lot of guys will fight through things versus, especially now, there's only a couple, we only got a couple weeks left of hockey, so guys will literally, their whole life they want to do this. They're just hockey. Like, I want one more hockey game. I want one more game. I want one more effort, That's all it's about, and I think it's so unique to watch because at the end of this, you're gonna find out so many guys have been hurt, and like Brock Besser, unfortunately he was on Vancouver. He had a blood clotting issue, but then that's like something you can't play through that. You could die. But I mean, a lot of guys will play through broken bones. Last year, Matthew Tkachuk broke his labrum and played through it. And that's like he had his brother helping him get dressed like before games, and he played through.
Oh my god!
And it's like that's like crazy. You're out like 4 to 6 months, and he's just like, I'll play through it, rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, just shrug it off. I mean, if you could shrug it off, but it's hard to shrug off a torn labrum. But seeing that dedication, and like you mentioned, hockey is a smaller sport compared to the other three. So the hockey players might sound a little cheesy, but it's true. Like they see every fan like as an individual person. Like they came to see me play. It's not like basketball or football where it's like who cares? Like whatever. If I don't play out like load management, all that. Like I can miss a few games. I'm fine. I have to heal my broken pinky. But you see these hockey guys, just fight right through that. So. And that's why that's why more people should be watching these playoffs because bring more attention to it.
Because if you don't like hockey, it's such an interesting time of year to watch the game because it's so fast paced. Even if you can't track it, you're just every 2 seconds you're seeing a hit, you're seeing a really skilled player, you're seeing something, a fight. So it's unique.
When I see a collision, when I see a collision, I feel it deep in my soul. I'm like, whoa! When I stand up, like I get real into it. I'm just like, oh my god! Like he just decapitated him. Like this is not.
It's awesome.
Time. Yeah, can't be on TV.
Jacob Trouba for the Rangers has been trying to take heads off. So that guy,
right.
He's an
Yeah,
old-fashioned
and I
hockey
was gonna
player, but he aims for the head.
yeah. Dude, he knows where to go for. He's like cut off the head of the snake, you know. And he's doing that with all
Yeah,
these players right now. So I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about, we can talk about the Rangers Panther series kind of like in depth. Like, yeah, like that first game, Florida shut him out. New York to beat them 3-0. Barbovsky, yeah, I mean he's led the season and shutouts. He had 6 during the regular season, and he's been awesome in that goal for the Panthers. He was kind of key in them,
I
getting here
think a lot
too.
of things
And for,
is what it comes down to
yeah,
is
go ahead.
goaltending. Like goaltending is going to be the biggest thing in these series. If you can just have a goalie that can make timely saves and just keep you guys in the game, like that's the biggest thing in hockey. You don't have to make the crazy saves all the time, but if you can make the consistent saves all the time and be able to give your team a fighting chance, that's what like any team would want. So when you have a goalie
Yeah,
who's in net that's a little shaky or is not confident in himself, it's hard because teams feed off your goalie. When your goalie has supreme confidence and he's like, I have this handled, you know that you're in good hands. Like Igor Shesterkin, all year, even if he has bad games, he's like, he knows he's the best. Like he knows he's their number one.
yeah,
And he's just like, that's my role. And he takes it and he plays with it. So I think, that series is interesting because it's two Russian goalies versus each other. So I think that's
exactly. It's
fun
just kind of
because
cool
I'm
to see
like, you
that.
know what? Yeah. It's like these guys are
I'll take
definitely,
a shot
like
of
they're
vodka
going
to
home.
that.
Yeah, a little shot of vodka before going to ice, chill out, have some fun. But it's just,
Like,
it really is. It's going to come down to the two goaltenders because both of the teams are skilled beyond belief. First through fourth line is unbelievably skilled.
yeah,
And
3 out of the 4 games have gone to overtime. It's been
yeah,
crazy how back and forth it's been. It's been a goalie matchup between the two. They've had a shot of vodka like Strasvucia, and they get off to
yeah.
it on the ice. They do
Yeah,
their
that's
thing.
why I'm saying
But
this. Whoever wins this series, I would win the cup. I will say Dallas.
valid,
I think
yeah,
Dallas is going to win the Edmonton series. I would love to see. I love Edmonton,
yeah,
but I do think Dallas would be the team that I want to see Joe Pavelski win a cup. And honestly,
yeah.
it's just been so
We just see
exciting
if
to
they'll,
watch all these games. Yeah,
yeah. We just see for the Oilers if Connor McDavid can kind of put on that backpack. They just went through a 7-game series with Vancouver, so they
yeah,
probably feel that fatigue a little bit, tired out and going against the Stars too. We beat the Avalanche six
yeah.
games, took care of business. Like they're probably gonna win, but Oilers are putting up a fight. Regardless, even how
Yeah,
fatigued they've been. I
Oilers are
mean, they're
putting up a
top.
fight, and the one thing that Oilers have, and I'll say like compared to other teams, like for Oilers, line 1 through 4, there's a heavy weight on line 1 and 2, right? So there's a lot of those two guys, those two lines have to
Yeah,
produce, and when those guys aren't producing, the whole team is struggling. But those guys, they're number 1, number 2. They're some of the best players in the world, Leon Draisaitl and McDavid. And obviously they have McLeod and they have other good stars, but those guys are top tier NHL superstars. They're going to go to the Hall of
right.
Fame. Like they're very good hockey players. So the fact that they've been performing is very good for the team morale because the guys are like, all right, you know what, pressure's off. Not everything's relying on us too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see. It's
you
very
kind of hope for
interesting
that for
because
the Oilers
honestly,
squad. Yeah, you kind of hope for that for the Oilers squad because they're like you said, the top 3. They're the top 3 in the NHL for points scored. Like it's been a lot of heavy hitters. So you're kind of hoping
yeah,
the rest of that Edmonton squad, the backup line, all those guys can try and pick up the slack a little bit, and they have been for this series. I mean, we kind of been back and forth with both conference series, but I was going to bring up for the Rangers Panthers series. Artemi Panarin, dude. Not this
yeah.
series, but before then,
The
man
Bread
was
Man,
an
yeah.
animal. Oh my god. Yeah, like
I don't
what
know
do you
what it is.
120
He just
points. I
has
have it
a
right
way
here.
about him. Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
What was it? How
120
many points
points,
is it?
71 assists, 120 for the playoff series, or playoffs in general, not just this season. This season,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, he comes
he's
to
been
play. Like
fucking
that's the thing.
crazy.
Panarin, he's a
Yeah,
different breed of players, and it's absolutely unreal to watch him because he's like,
right.
especially from a hockey player's perspective, you're like, how the hell does he see that? Like, what I'm saying, like a lot of times people just
Right.
watch him, and they're like, wow, he's really good at passing. It's like when I'm thinking about being in that position or like trying to make that play, I'm like, how does he even see that or know that that's happening? And so he just sees the game in a different way, and he's an unbelievable passer. But this year, I think it kind of bit
100%.
him in the ass because I think last year he was passing first, like he was always looking for the pass versus shooting, and now it's kind of switched to he's shooting the puck all the time, so he's getting the opportunities, and I don't know, he's a unique player. He's one of those players that he came over from
He's a
the
unicorn.
KHL, which is yeah. He came over from the KHL, and some Russian guys have a hard time adjusting to the fast pace because they play on a bigger rink in like the KHL. It's a little bit bigger, so like in the U.S., like we play
Okay.
on 200 feet by 85 feet, and like it's like 208 feet, which is a little bit longer, but it's by 95 feet. So it's wider too, so you have a lot more room to play with the puck. You have a lot more offensive time, like the zones are bigger. So those guys who come over, like sometimes will struggle because it's so close and fast paced compared to like playing in Europe. And he's been like absolutely tearing it up. He's just he's like a generational. That's what's really cool about this whole series is you're seeing the new generation of the younger talent come up and the older veteran like guys who wore the studs back in the day, like kind of leading the teams, and they might not be doing the greatest things or like performing the greatest ways, but they're just doing what's good for the team. They're keeping it consistent, and they're just doing everything to help the team win. So it's really cool to see. But Panarin's like that guy is unbelievable. The Rangers top six is an unbelievable like that Zibanejad. They have Lafreniere, who's unbelievable. He's a young player too. I think he's an '02 or '01 birth year, so he's like my age or younger, and he's unbelievable.
It's crazy. Yeah. Just yeah. Yeah, no, it's wild how crazy the Rangers have been. And yeah, Panarin, when he's on the ice, he's got a plus 18. Like he's a ice general, man. He can see that he's got vision like a hawk. He can see like place the puck right in the right spot for his guys, set them up, and that's how I mean the Rangers. But I commend the Florida Panthers defense for kind of keeping Panarin at bay this series because he hasn't been lining it up like the last two series the Rangers have had. But he's obviously been solid. I'm not gonna hate on him, but you gotta commend the Florida defense too. That's the Florida defense is one of their biggest trait, like how the reason they got to this spot. I mean, last year we saw them make the Stanley Cup final because of that Cinderella run they had, but also you saw how hard they fight for it. Yeah, I was going to talk about the other series, other games. Rangers beat Panthers in second game overtime 2-1. Yeah, Barclay Goodrow had that net. Also for the Rangers, Goodrow getting that shot. You had game, what was it, 3 or 4? It was game 3 when Alex Wennberg got that game-winning goal, his first playoff goal this playoff series, just out of nowhere, secured them the overtime win. It's just been a wild series. I mean, overall,
that's just the greatest thing too
is
guys coming to speed in playoffs. Some guys who might not be the guys during the year, and a lot of teams their focus is on those top guys. Those guys who are always scoring. That's why Panarin, you kind of see he's a little locked down, because when he's on the ice, everyone's aware that Panarin is out on the ice. So they're like, all right, we got to make, you make adjustments. Same thing with D3 hockey. We do the same thing. When we know a guy scores a lot, we try, when he's on the ice, it's like, all right, this guy scores a lot. Let's be a little wary of what he's doing out here. Let's watch him a little bit closer. And that's what's been happening. So now it's opening up the doors for these other guys to come in and make these plays and take their leap of almost taking control. So Goodrow, he's been a solid player all year, but no one's thinking he's going to be an overtime goal scorer. He's absolutely sniped, So it's been unbelievable to see that too, because you're kind of rooting for those guys who aren't in the lineup consistently or who might have got hurt, and then they're coming in, they're making a huge impact when it comes to playoffs. So
yeah, I mean, we saw the reaction when Wennberg got that clutch goal. I mean, the whole team was like, oh my god, he got the win, first playoff goal this series. And we saw his career kind of in Columbus. He was on the Kraken for a little bit. He's been all over he's a journeyman, but seeing that goal for him in that big spot, that's awesome to see. And you secured a win. And you see those little moments in hockey. It's awesome, to watch. And the most recent game, I mean, overtime, Panthers beat the Rangers 3-2. Sam Reinhart getting that OT goal kind of helped secure him. But Igor, 37 saves, goal. It was a beautiful goal. But yeah, and that was another goalkeeper battle because Igor got 37 saves to Bobrovsky's 21, but Panthers still won that just because, those clutch power plays that Reinhart and Verhaeghe had. Verhaeghe had that backhand goal. Ooh, come on, man.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing also too. It's playoffs in playoff hockey, overtime isn't 3-on-3. So we have 3-on-3 hockey rest of the year because the games need to be a little bit quicker because guys, playoffs, you can't have 3-on-3 overtime. It's just unfair, right? So So what they do is 5-on-5, but you play a full period after, and if you get a penalty and you have a good team that has a good power play, you might as well sink it in because it's a hard thing to kill off penalties in the regular game, and then when it comes to overtime, they know if it's one goal, it's done. So it's really cool to watch because you see teams like when they get a penalty or a power play, it's like you can kind of predict like once they got that power play, I was like, you know what, Florida, they know how to get good entries into the zone, and they're gonna get a good win. Like they're gonna win here. I was kind of before I was just like, what, I hope this game goes to like 2 overtimes, 3 overtimes, just keep it going.
Yeah, right.
Once they got the
as
power
many as
play,
you
I
can
was
go,
just
really.
like, they're gonna score here. So
Yeah, and that's what's been kind of hurting the New York Rangers is those power plays that I brought it up earlier, but yeah, I mean that's kind of what's been keeping Florida tied within the series because we mentioned all the heavy hitters the Rangers have. They kind of should be like a 3-1 lead for them right now. But yeah, I mean Florida's been Florida's a fighter. They're fighters, man. That's how they made it so far last year, and they're here again. But yeah, overall, I mean, where do you think the series is going to go? Panthers, Rangers, excuse me.
well, I think just because it's been so close,
Where do you think
I think it could go to 7 games. I think both series can go to 7 games, and I honestly hope they both do. I think Rangers, honestly, if they can pull, I know at home they can play very well, and they've been, I think their starts have been a little inconsistent, so I feel like they've been kind of chasing the game, and I think they're number 1 in the league from come from behind wins too, and I think they have like 28 this year.
Definitely are,
which is insane. So. They can score goals. They know that. They just got to defend well, and they got to stay out of the box. It's the biggest thing. And, when you have Jacob Trouba who's running around trying to take guys' heads off, it doesn't help because, also in the NHL now, it's like a $5,000 fine, which isn't that much money for these guys making a lot of money. It's like, you hurt someone, you get head contact, you get instead of getting, suspended for a couple of games, you get a $5,000 fine, you're good to go back in. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, half these guys, it's like if you're hitting someone in the head, you should be suspended at least a game. It gives you an advantage to the other team. Like Jacob Trouba should not be in the lineup. I mean, I think he's a great player, but I just think he's hurting the team right now, whether he has the C on his chest or not.
He's a detriment in this kind of spot.
He's hurting the team, and it's a difficult situation because Paul Maurice, who was Florida's head coach, he said. He's been on fire with all of his quotes this whole postseason. And he's like, pass the hat around, he's not going to be able to eat $5,000. Like, oh my God. But it's like, these guys make so much money. It doesn't matter. Like $5,000 is like a slap on the wrist. It's like not that bad. So that's another thing too, because I think a lot of people are looking into the safety protocols behind a lot of these hits. And there's no clear path on what's illegal, what's not, what's a 5 in a game, what's a suspension, what's a fine, what's not. So a lot of these guys are like, you have these repeat offenders who continually do stuff, and it's like $5,000 every time. He might pay $30,000, but he's getting $2 million at the end of the year. So it's interesting, but I hope that series goes to 7, and I hope Dallas and Edmonton go to 7 because it's been fun to watch. The more hockey you get to watch is honestly the better.
Yeah, that's how it is with hockey. The more games, the merrier. I mean, tonight's game for Florida and New York, the tickets are like $4,000 a ticket. So, I mean, honestly, the people buying these tickets, they could probably help pay these hockey players fines, man. Like the way they're dropping.
That's the thing too. Is
New York,
it's so expensive.
New York fans are
but
crazy.
Honestly, it's so much nicer to just go. You can go to a bar. You can watch the game, have a couple drinks. You're not spending $30,000 on tickets and then also drinks at the place. So I think it's fun to watch hockey at home. I think it's like a unique thing. It's obviously amazing. Like my girlfriend was privileged enough to go to lucky enough to go to game 1 versus Carolina at the Garden, and she was sitting right behind the bench.
That's sick.
But she said it was awesome, amazing atmosphere.
Was she jaw jacking them? Was she
Yeah, she was right behind Rempe. I saw her. She was looking.
Was she insulting the players?
Yeah. Her dad was next to her though, so it was pretty funny. She said it was an amazing experience, and it's cool if you get that opportunity. That's why a lot of people like Carolina, because my buddies from home, they would drive down to Carolina because the tickets are only $130. Like, they're not too bad for playoff hockey, so it's like, it's reasonable to just make the drive, go down there, watch a game versus spending $8,000 for nosebleeds at the Garden. So
I New York, yeah. I mean, that's how it is with every
yeah,
sport in New York. Like, it's like I'd rather just go to the away game and like drop money there. It's cheaper to just to drive there and
yeah.
buy the tickets.
Cheaper
So
to fly there and
rather than
just
just watching
hang
it.
out for a bit. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, just get a flight real quick. Like, it's like, yeah, if New York goes to Stanley Cup to play Dallas or Edmonton, like I'm just gonna take the flight to Canada rather than
yeah.
watch a game in New York. Honestly, I'm going to Edmonton real quick.
Honestly, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we kind of yeah, right. I mean, if you're gonna spend your money, just go to watch an Alvernia ice hockey game. You know, that's probably
Hey, yeah, we're
better
gonna have a good
to
squad
watch
next year.
those guys
too.
play in person. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. It's gonna be fun
We're
to
gonna have
watch.
a good squad next
Yeah,
year.
but
So
speaking of which, I was
hopefully-
gonna ask a little bit about. Yeah, what were you gonna say? Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, you were gonna say that I guess talk about the team next year or whatever, and I don't know. Hopefully next year we had a good run this year, and we ended up falling a little short, but hopefully next year we'll be able to put all the buttons together and get it going.
Yeah, and I was just asking a little bit about yourself, actually. So yeah, I mean, this past season, you guys got a out for us Alvernia, our ice hockey program's fairly new, got a big playoff win, get to the second round. Obviously, coming up short. Was it Utica? I think they took
Yeah,
the dub there.
Utica.
We're a
Yeah,
Division III school, but they took the dub there. UCHC. I
yeah.
mean, what was that? What was that like playing getting that first playoff win for Alvernia, the first round?
Well, I mean, obviously it's a huge accomplishment, especially for where we've been. Like, it's only our second year. It's coming up on our third year as a NCAA Division III program, and a lot of times
It's
like
wild.
King's College, not to bash on King's College at all, they're a good team, but they've been a program for 6 years, and they just made it this year, right? So,
Yeah,
in 2 years, what we've done is we've made it to playoffs both years. And we won a playoff game this year, and next year, we were right there. We had a little bit of inconsistency at the end of the year. We kind of went on a losing streak, but we were a powerhouse this year, and unfortunately, records don't show that, and unfortunately, you only get 25, 26 games at the college level, so it's unfortunate because I feel like you play 50 games, you have 50 games
yeah,
under your belt, but it's like it is a hard thing to do, and I'm glad that we got to accomplish that this year. And I think the good group that's coming back is we want more. Like, we didn't come here to just make playoffs, lose, and that be it. Like, we want to go to the tournament. We want to have a good run. A lot of us want to play pro when we're done. So, the better you do in college,
yeah.
it's
Obviously,
just been fun. It's been a awesome experience. It's been a learning experience too, because coaches, they've been coaching for a bit. They're learning too. Everyone's learning. This is a new process for us, and for the guys who came in last year, and it's our first year as a program, and it's our first year playing hockey too.
yeah.
Like at the
I would say you
collegiate
guys.
level. It was a big
Yeah.
change, and it was a big. Yeah.
I would say you guys are off to a hot start, definitely, for the program. And you personally, I saw you on the ice, and I saw some good highlights from you. And I wanted to ask, like, what really made you get into ice hockey? Like, what was the appeal of hockey that like made you connect with it so much with the
Yeah.
game, and want you to play for
Well,
college?
Yeah, well, I'm the youngest of four boys, and my dad was a hockey coach, like, growing up, and all of us played hockey. We have a local little club here, Cranford Hockey Club. It's a pretty inexpensive way to play hockey.
Shout
You get a
out.
full season out of it. And then I was the youngest of four boys, so everyone played. So it was just kind of like we were at the rink. You might as well be there. And then I was like kind of one of the only ones who wanted to take it serious and take it to the next level. So at like 14 or like 13 or 14, I went and played AAA hockey and like moved up like a level, which is like the higher level you can play at that age. And then after that, I was kind of set on I definitely wanted to play juniors because I just thought it was so cool. Like all these guys, you take 3 years out of school, you're just literally living the dream. Like you just play hockey, hang out, and like that's your life. And then
Yeah,
and then my mom just walked by. She was like, "Yeah, COVID killed you." But
it's all good.
yeah, it was
No,
fun
no.
because it was just a great experience, and I feel like a lot of life lessons have been learned through hockey, and I got the opportunity to play juniors, and I've been blessed in being able to like play hockey and just continue to play. A lot of people I'm talking to now who are my friends that are like getting these jobs, they're not really happy in life because they're just like, dude, I went to college and now like what am I doing? Like you know, a lot of them are just like, dude, just keep playing, play as long as you can, have some fun with it, and you know, it's been fun. And you know, I wanted to play college hockey. That was a big goal of mine. In my last year of junior, I did okay enough. I did pretty well to be able to have a couple options of schools that I wanted to go to, and you know, I wanted to go to a smaller
Very humble of
school,
you.
so
Yeah.
it made sense for me to come out to Alvernia. Yeah. Yeah. So that was just kind of my whole thing. It was just
Yeah, fair enough.
go
Yeah, and I
through
want to.
juniors. I loved it, and yeah, then ended up going to Alvernia.
Right. There you go. And since you go to Alvernia, I mean, like, do you have what was the story? Like, how did me and you meet first time? Because I'm trying to remember. I know it was like during the fall time before your season started. What was the story like? I think I was like, I came to the house and we were like, oh, who are you? And
I
they were
think
like,
we
oh, I'm
must
the
have
commentator.
either
That's why I did that
been,
little announcement in the beginning of this episode.
yeah, I think it was either, it must have been either on campus. I think we met you or something. Me, Max, we might have met you, and you were like, oh, I'm going to be the announcer this year or something. And we were like, dude, that's unreal. And then I think at the house or something, we
Yeah.
met like officially, and I was like, yo, what's up, man? And I think you announced like everyone there. And the guys just got hyped. We were so excited. We were like,
Probably.
dude, this is
They
unreal.
all wanted me to, yeah.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah,
don't know.
let's
After
go.
that, we've
Yeah.
had classes and
Yeah.
stuff, so it's been fun. I mean, it's cool to see other people's lives. Like that's the one thing is like I played hockey for like my whole life, and all I've known is hockey. It's like cool to see other people's lives, like what they're interested in. That's why I kind of like the school because it's not a hockey school, so it's like you kind of see
It's
a lot
different,
of other
definitely.
people. You know, I'm friends with the soccer guys. You know, I'm friends with a lot of people on campus. I'm always saying hello, stuff. But it's really cool to just see other people's walks of life and what they're into. And like you're into the commentating, you want to be on the radio, the TV, and stuff. So it's interesting. I don't know. It's cool. So I like keeping an open mind, and just saying what's up to everyone.
Yeah, I
So
definitely would
I
like
think
to
that's
be.
probably what we said. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta keep an open playbook to that kind of stuff. And I mean, yeah, watching you play hockey, I mean, I was kind of like commentating. I do for a lot of the sports, but I really connected with you guys in the hockey squad because you're always so welcoming and friendly with all. Like you're friendly with all the other people that play sports and the rest of you guys too. You know, like Max, shout out Max, Logan, you shout out Wardo too. You know, like those kind of guys. They were really really welcoming and like funny guys. And I mean, also too because we take classes. Like you're a digital media marketing major, I want to say. Like how,
Yeah.
like do you hope to connect that with hockey in some way in your future, like someone like that? Okay, yeah. Tell me a little bit about
That
that.
is the big question. That is a big question. I mean,
It-
I hope so. Like,
it's hard, I know.
in the future, I would love to do something with marketing, maybe do working for the NHL or sports team. But as of right now, it's just I don't know. It's just something that interests me. There's a lot of things that I like in that field. So it's like okay, if I can have a mixture of like 4 or 5 things that I'm pretty well versed at or decent at, then like when I come out of college, I can have a decent job or a decent aspect of like, hey, like I have 4 things under my belt. I'm not an expert in them, but this is what I can do.
Jack of all trades kind of thing. I like where your head's
Yeah.
at with that. Kind of try and cover all the bases. Try and see I can do a little bit of everything. I'm your guy. I'm Mr. Will White. How you doing? Like, here's my card, something like that, and try and get that spot. Yeah, and hopefully one day you're managing for or marketing for a team, and I'm the guy calling for the games for the team. So that'd be kind of lit.
Hey, man.
I would
Yeah,
really
that'd be
appreciate
awesome.
that. And last question I kind of had for like just like breaking the ground, kind of in this episode. Like, who was your favorite hockey player growing up watching?
So pretty interesting is that I started off playing goalie when I was younger, and my favorite goalie was Martin Brodeur.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it
Hey,
eventually
okay.
got to a point where I was playing goalie, forward, skating out, so it was like too much gear, and it was just like what, I gotta pick one. So I ended up just skating out. I was a better skater than I was as a goalie, and we had a good goalie when I was younger, so I just ended up skating out and playing. I love Chris Letang. He's just like a salt to the earth guy. I love a lot of the older guys, but Chris Letang's like my favorite hockey player. But I also love Tom Wilson, which is a underrated one, just because he plays
Okay,
on the
Tom.
edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like the way he plays. I think it's fun because this year I was jumping up to forward at the end of the year, so I was just trying to really soak that in and be like, you know what? Let me just hit people, see what I can do. If the puck gets on my stick, I'll shoot it at net.
I'm gonna be
you
like
know?
my boy Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. For me personally, it was like Claude Giroux. I love Wayne Simmons. Like those are my guys. And just yeah. So obviously, I wanted to get a little bit of that kind of like yeah. So Tom Wilson's an interesting pick. I didn't expect that one, but
Yeah,
I
a lot
like
of
that
people don't
poll.
like
That's a good
him, and I
poll.
just think he's funny. I think he's a hilarious player. He plays on the edge.
He's
He's
a
like
charismatic guy. Yeah.
he's a good hockey player. I've heard he's a great locker room guy too. But he's just one of those guys that's like, all right, like he's physical. He can score. He can kind of do everything. He can fight. So that's what I try and like put my game in. Obviously, you can't fight in college hockey, but you can tussle a little
They say
bit.
that now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can't fight, but you can show him who's boss. That's what you can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of just like wanted to talk about yourself a little bit. We could talk about the other conference finals. We already talked about a little bit of Stars Oilers, but I want to kind of go in depth a little bit of it. I mean, most recent game, it really went in the Oilers' favor. They won 5-2, and I mean the hockey gods were in the Oilers' favor. I mean, Edinger stick blocked a goal. He wasn't even in the net. His stick blocked it, or he was outside. Yeah, you saw that? That was crazy, man. But
That was insane.
yeah, you think this was
Honestly,
also going 7 games?
yeah, I think this series, if anything, can go to 7 games. I think one thing the Oilers need to do is they need to be strong defensively and they need to be able to hit, like be able to take the hits and stuff. So it's pretty interesting because I think, you know what, honestly, it could go either way. I think if Edmonton wins, I'm super excited for them because they've had some young guys who haven't been in that position. Like McDavid hasn't been there yet to play in the finals, and I think it would be awesome to watch. But neither is Draisaitl. But those guys who I'm like, it'd be fun to watch. But at the same time, I doubt their experience and their veterans in the locker room. But it's hockey, so I could say that it's gonna go to like 7 games, but it might only go to 6 games. And Dallas might have just had a
Yeah.
hiccup there, and they're gonna take over. So
Yeah, I mean Tyler Seguin, he's been doing it for Dallas, the Stars. I mean, yeah, McDavid's been like trying to get into that spot. He had 3 assists last game. Like he's been trying to do it all for the Oilers squad because he wants to get to that Cup final spot because he's been one of the best for the past few years, and hasn't really seen
yeah,
that success in the playoffs. And they made it this far. Like you can't waste this opportunity now. You got to go all the way to see Mr. Stanley. You got to go to the final, man. You got to capitalize on
I
this
think also
opportunity
if
you
they
have.
just
Yeah,
can get to the finals, I think there's a solid chance because once it's to the final, it's anyone's game. Like you just have to string
yeah,
together 4 good games and hope that your goaltender stands on his head. But I do like the mix that Dallas has. If they have the young guns, they have Stanakovic, who's a young Russian player. They have Wyatt Johnson. He's like he's 21. He literally turned 21 like a couple weeks ago. Young studs that
crazy
are
man.
on the team, and then they have the veteran guys who have been there. And Ottinger's been an amazing goalie for years, so I think they have the right mix of players to like really make a push. But we'll see. I mean, that's the thing. It's just anyone's game. I would love to see the Oilers push and make it an interesting series and really win the series. I think as long as they're defensively strong and they have all their guys healthy and they're moving the puck well, I don't see why not. Like that they couldn't go and play 7 games and even go and
Yeah.
win the cup. So
I mean, that'd be awesome for Oilers fans to like see them go this far
yeah,
too. Because when was the last time the Oilers had made it this far? I mean, probably since the goat, brought him to
yeah,
this spot. Yeah, we know Gretzky, but yeah.
yeah,
But besides that, you have the Stars who beat the reigning champ Vegas Knights first round. It's like you need like the Stars able to do that, and you mentioned like obviously the healthier team came out on top, but yeah,
yeah,
Stars are full of veterans. Like I mentioned, Tyler Seguin doing his thing. He's a veteran. Esa Lindell, like he's helped the Stars out a lot too. Robertson had a hat trick. Like these guys have been helping them a lot. Like in
yeah.
this
That's the thing is
series.
they got the mix of both. They have the veteran guys. They have Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin. They got Pavelski, who's been in the league. I think like 40 something. No, but he's been in the league for a while. And he's been to the Cup
Yeah,
final multiple times. And then on the other side, you got a couple veterans on Edmonton. Corey Perry. He's been to the Cup finals. He's a big glue guy. He had a little mishap this year with the Chicago Blackhawks, but it really comes down to how well the team is molded. Those young guys on Dallas aren't afraid of anything. They're not the young guys that are like they're out there like trying to prove themselves. They're
like
like,
oh, how about get a
this is my
goal?
role. Yeah,
Like yeah,
they're like
they're
this
like
is
no,
my
they're
role. I'm
fearless.
here to
Yeah.
make a difference. So it's pretty cool to see. I think I would really love to see McDavid go far and win. Just because those young guys that got drafted in like 2015, 2016, you know, they haven't got to represent their country in the Olympics, which is a big thing that a lot of the guys are kind of upset about. But, this is
Right,
their
it's been rough.
opportunity, and I think they'll run with it. And I'm hopeful that, I want to say it's going to be Rangers Dallas in the finals, but obviously I just like Rangers to win so I can go to the, parade if it's there. So,
Yeah, if it's New York Stars or New Ranger Stars, that'd be a big market matchup between New York and Dallas. Like you can NHL can probably get a lot of money with those two in the finals, obviously.
two big
Which is why I
cities.
hope
Obviously,
it's
if Edmonton
Edmonton,
wins
Florida.
too, it's a
Just
big
because
city
that'd be
for. Yeah, if Edmonton wins too, it's a big city for them. And
yeah,
also, it's a huge hockey community. So I think whoever wins, it's like a win-win situation for just the
you're
league
right.
too. But I don't know. It's really cool to watch. I really feel like the series for both of them can go either way.
Yeah, like I was saying, Oilers Panthers would be hilarious just to see how much travel that would take from go from Edmonton to Florida. That's mostly why I want to see it, just for like that'd be kind of funny, just being like, oh my god, they're just so fatigued on that flight, going from
Yeah, that is
both
another thing
places.
too.
But I mean overall, yeah.
It's pretty intense to like do all that travel too.
Go
It's
ahead.
like
Yeah.
it's a very big like that's another thing that a lot of guys don't realize. Like you're playing two games and then you're hopping on a flight, flying down, then you gotta sleep in, wake up, and then you're gonna do a morning skate, get ready, and then you play a game. It's like, it's nice when you have the close travel when you're playing New York versus the Islanders or whatever. So it's like, you're back in your own bed, you're not sleeping in a hotel. That's another thing. It's like pretty interesting because it's like comes down to the wire. These guys are like running on fumes at this point, and they're just trying to push through and play their best games at this time. It's like they've already played 82 games, and now they're trying to do
Yeah.
like 25, 26. I think it's like 16. I think or no, it's more than that. It's definitely more than that. Actually, not 16.
It's taxing either way. The
But
amount of games they have played and how
yeah,
much energy they put in these playoffs. Really, that's why it makes playoff hockey so fun to watch. It's how much they put into it. It's like it reminds me a lot of
yeah,
March Madness college basketball. It's like seeing how much these guys put into it because they know it's like it's now or never. That's the kind of mentality I love. Being
yeah,
like, well, if we want to win, we got to go all the way. We can't just win the one playoff series and call it a day. That's why I
yeah.
feel that kind of connection with it. But any closing thoughts at all? So your Stanley Cup final is going to be you said Stars Rangers is what it's looking like for you.
Stars Rangers is what I'm thinking, but you know what? Either way, I'm gonna be happy. Just because at this point, my team's not in. I'm just a Rangers fan
Right.
because they're in New York, and I'm close enough to where if they win, I can go to I can go to the parade or something, go celebrate, go have a beer or something. But I'm just a huge
I was
fan
gonna
of
say
what's
just have a
going
good
on right
time.
now. Yeah. But the other thing too is
I want you
a
to wear
lot
your
of guys
Penguins jersey to the
they
Rangers
fight through
parade.
this. Yeah. Oh my God, I'd get a bottle thrown on my head if I wore that. But the one
More than
thing
one.
too is a lot of these guys, this is their last chance to potentially play in the Stanley Cup. Some guys go there, you go to a final, and that's why a lot of guys fight through this stuff. It's because you never know if you're ever going to get back. The team changes. A lot of people lose cap. Guys want to get paid more because they had a good playoff series. So that's why it's now or never for a lot of these teams. It's like, all right, like, are we going to play? Like, we want to win the cup, or it's like you might never ever get back to the final. Like some guys, like Henrik Lundqvist, is the greatest goalie probably in NHL history. He never won a single cup. He went to the
Yeah, he's
final
up there.
twice,
Yeah.
never won a cup. And that's not on him as a goaltender. It's just like, you just never know when you're going to get back there. So it's really cool to see, and I'm excited for it because, over the next 2-3 weeks, we're going to see some awesome hockey, and it's just going to be fun to watch. And it's exciting too because it like
Yeah,
rebuilds
Stanley
that
Cup
little
final.
that energy in you to go back and train and like get ready for like because next year, this season, we want to have a good team. We want to have a better team than this past year, and you always just want to build on it. So the good thing about college hockey is you stay with the same couple guys, same squad for 4 years. You're growing with four guys, group of guys for 4 years. So hopefully this next two years
It's like a
will be a very
brotherhood.
good stint for us. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it is too for the Golden Wolves. Kind of cement your names in
Yeah.
NCAA D3
Yeah,
college
that'd be fun.
ice hockey history. No, I'm playing. But yeah. So my finals prediction, I'm gonna go with I like the Stars pick. I'm gonna go Stars Panthers. I think Florida's gonna beat out New York. I just think that New York's penalty is gonna cost them, and taking heads off. Can't be doing that too often. So I'm gonna go with Panthers to take in 7. I think Stars beat Oilers in probably 6. I think Stars win the next 2 games, but we're gonna wait and see. Obviously, this could age terribly, and they won't win at all.
Yeah.
But that's my finals prediction, and it's gonna, hey, like I said, more playoff hockey. The Stanley Cup final. I'm gonna be watching it like every game if I can. And these past
Fun
couple
to
of games, I
watch
was
too.
like watching some of them. Yeah, after like some of them happen, I would watch the recap, maybe some highlights. But I want to watch some of these live with some friends. Obviously, I wish it was you guys and the rest of the guys on the team,
Yeah.
because that'd be
We'll get
just
around
y'all
next year
know it.
though
Like,
to watch some of it though.
yeah, I'll pull
We'll
up to
watch
the
some
crib.
like
Yeah,
we'll
just
watch in
watch
season. We'll have the guys over and stuff, and you'll be
like a
there
big game.
announcing it.
Yeah, I got you.
We'll have you
Yeah, I'm
announce
like,
it
my
instead
God, the
of
Flyers
instead of
lost
Steve.
again. I can't believe it. Yeah, yeah,
That's
I'll be
unreal,
announcing it.
dude.
But yeah, Will, I appreciate you coming on to the podcast and talking about
Oh,
hockey,
of
man.
course, dude.
You
I
really know your
appreciate
stuff.
you having me, dude. It's awesome. Yeah, this is
Yeah, I
awesome,
was like,
man.
I
I
need to talk about
appreciate it,
hockey.
and
Who's the guy I can get? And I was like, I
yeah, yeah. It's the hockey kid, you know.
can.
I'm not that well
Yeah,
versed at
exactly.
hockey
You're
too.
locked
Like I
into it, man.
watch it, but I'm not. If you wanted someone like Sawyer Senio, he knows like every NHL. He knows every NHL player in their hand, like what hand they are, righty, lefty. It's unbelievable. There's some guys on the
That's
team.
crazy.
It's
All
pretty
right, maybe I'll have
interesting.
to talk
Like,
to Sawyer
I like
next.
watching it. I'm not like invested in the players. There's some guys who know every player on every team, and I'm like, wow, you got to be watching this stuff pretty extensively. So I just know
Right.
because I like watching it. And I know the stars and stuff, and like,
Yeah, I'll definitely
but
have
I'm
to
not
get
like
some of
I'm
those
not
guys on.
highly
Yeah.
invested in it.
That's fine, man. I got you on because you're an interesting dude, and I was like, we both take some of the same classes, similar classes, so it'd be a good discussion. Obviously, and it was talk about some of the hockey. So this has been Will White. Everyone, if you can, I'll plug your handles. Will, I'll put your Instagram up, like where they can find you. Go follow him. He's a great guy. I've been Kyle Rudart for the Rude Awakening. So that's where we start your morning with 2 eggs and a stack of hot takes. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and go watch some hockey. All right, that's what we want.